first we're going to introduce ourselves a little bit, and then we're going to talk a little bit about who we are and how we fit into this. I'm Debbie Short, and I'm one of the instructors with Pre-Engineering. And Mark, go ahead.
I'm Mark Thomas. I'm another instructor with our Pre-Engineering program as well. And so our purpose tonight is to kind of give you an overview of our Pre-Engineering Academy. So as you have questions, definitely feel free to ask those in the Q&A. So as Mrs. Short is presenting, I'll be watching the Q&A, and then as I'm presenting, she'll be watching the Q&A.
All right, so just a little bit about us and our program here at Meridian. We are a part of we consider to be the STEM Academy. And in this academy, we have not only a new building that we'll show you some pictures, but there's 6 instructors, but 2 distinct pathways, or 2 different programs falling under this umbrella STEM Academy. And so what that really means as a student or to a parent is that the academic courses are fairly similar for both programs. Most of our students, entering students, are going to be taking Algebra 2 as a math course, unless they've already had it at their sending school. And then the academic science course will depend on which pathway they're in. The distinct difference between the 2 pathways are going to be our Project Lead the Way courses or our elective courses. And so that's why we have 2 different pathways. We have one which is the biomedical sciences. If you are interested in possibly being a doctor or a vet or a nurse or a physical therapist, that would be one pathway. And the other pathway would be our engineering pathway. And so a little bit about who typically applies. Typically, most of our incoming students coming in to our program will be sophomores. Now, we also have juniors come in, and they will end up being a 2-year student, but typically most of our students will be sophomores. We don't have a priority over one or the other. It depends on when a student is ready to join our program. A little bit about how our program operates. Your student will attend either their sending school or possibly homeschool or private school, and they would then come to Meridian for half of a day. And so if they're a morning student, they will be transported from either their sending school, if they're a Perkins High School student or a Pawnee High School or Stillwater High School, they would be transported, or they can drive or be dropped off depending on how old they are. But so they'll attend either morning or afternoon, and it's a fairly large chunk of time. They're here from 7:50 to 10:40. On a non-COVID year, that'd be 5 days a week. Right now, we're on a blended schedule, and we could talk about that in a little bit if you'd like to hear more about that. But right now, our students are here for about 3.5 hours. But they are transported if they need to. We have some students that come in the morning, and then they go back to their high school in the afternoon, and they take their English and their history and their athletics. Or we have some students who they go to their high school first, and then they come here in the afternoon, and because they had their band or their orchestra in the morning, and they come out here, and they come in the afternoon from 12:45 to 3:35. So either way, they would attend one or the other. We do not have the option for them to come all day. That is not something that we have. We're just a half-day program. So the courses, what courses would a student be taking? They will be taking a math course and a science course with us each year they attend, and they'll also be taking 2 engineering courses. And we're kind of on a hybrid schedule where their academic courses are all year long. They have it every other day. Their elective course, their Project Lead the Way, or their engineering course, they have every day. And so when you saw that 7:50 to 10:40, we break that into 2 different classes. They have their engineering class, and then they get a 10 to 15-minute break, and then they have their academic course. So their math and their science, they have every other day all year long. And the reason we do that is because early on, we looked at a true block schedule. Parents were not happy that their students didn't have math all the time. And so that's why we went to this alternating schedule. They do have their engineering courses every day for an entire semester. So in the fall, they have one course. In the spring, they have another course. And that's because of projects. We have equipment and projects laying around, and it got too complicated to have 2 different courses going at the same time. Over on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the courses that we offer in the engineering pathway. The first 2 courses listed at the top, Introduction to Engineering Design and Principle of Engineering. Those are the introductory 2 courses that every student that is in our pathway takes. It doesn't matter if they're a 2-year student or a 3-year student, meaning they're a sophomore or junior, they will always take those 2 first courses. And then they will have some electives. And then our seniors take this course here, Engineering Design and Development. Otherwise, if you're a 3-year student, you have a few more electives than being a 2-year student. You can see it down here at the bottom on the left are the math courses. Typically, most of our entering students are ready for Algebra 2. That doesn't mean all of our students. We do have some juniors that come in that are ready for trig and pre-calc. We very rarely, but we have had a couple students come in ready for AP Calculus. And so that's one of the things that we really are pleased that we can do, is we can offer a pathway based upon the math and science needs of your student, and then we'll put them into elective courses as best as we can for their for what what their passion is. We have a civil and engineering course. We have digital electronics. We have aerospace. So we have we have an AP computer science. So we let them have some electives if possible of what they want to choose. Parents will often ask, my student is an athlete, so they were told they couldn't come to Meridian. That is not true. My student is in band or orchestra. We have all of these kinds of students in our program. Typically, our students who are passionate in band or orchestra, they will do that in the morning at their sending schools, and they will come to us in the afternoon. Students who are in athletics typically will come in the morning, because then they'll have athletic activities either 4th period or 6th period, depending on where your student goes to school, and then they will, so they come here in the morning. So the only situation that we have found that really won't work is if you have a student who is in athletics and in band or orchestra. That won't work. There's just not enough hours in the day for that to happen. So if they choose to attend Meridian, they are going to have to either work out something with a coach or choose one path, passion over another. And so if that's the situation your student is in, we can certainly provide some suggestions, but it often comes down to choosing either athletics or orchestra, band, or Meridian. They can't do all 3 typically. What are some of the other benefits? I'm not going to read through this for you, but some of the things that not only do we say our students gain from our program, but mainly we've also had parents say this and people on our committee. They learn some of these, what we call in industry, soft skills. We nudge them into groups, and we train them to work with others. Just like on the job, when they're working on the job in industry, we always tell them you're not always going to work with everybody you like, and you're going to have to learn to work with others and learn to communicate and talk through that. So a lot of these soft skills. We have some really cool technology. That's one of the greatest perks about Meridian, is we have small class sizes, and we have incredible amounts of technology that they have access to, the laptops and computers. Technology, probeware. And so one of the things I wanted to mention was one of the things we like to talk about is how this bottom statement is how we can provide rigorous academic courses in both math and science, but also have real-world, hands-on applicable applications. This is a little bit about the background of our instructors in our STEM Academy. I'm not going to read through that. Several of us have come from what you would consider to be a traditional public ed classroom. Both Mark Thomas and I, Debbie Short, right here visiting with you, both came from Stillwater High School before coming here. We both taught in the classroom for many years. We have some teachers who have national board certifications. Many of our instructors have advanced degrees, either master's degrees in their subject areas. 3 of the 6 STEM instructors are master teachers for Project Lead the Way, and we have a huge list of awards and accolades of our instructors here in this academy. I'm not going to read through this, but people often ask, what is Project Lead the Way? These engineering and biomedical courses, they are a national curriculum. There's a website at the bottom, pltw.org, if you want to know more about it. It's a national curriculum in different pathways that provides us resources and enrichment and hands-on, robust activities that challenge the students to think about world challenges, real world challenges, and help them with their speaking skills, working in groups, a lot of those soft skills. Here's a little bit more about our students. I guess we should have probably updated the ACT score. We still have a 2016 one on there, but I believe our current senior ACT average is about 28 of our graduating seniors. I think the last time I looked, it's right around 28. Many of our students leave Meridian and go on to major universities. We have some listed at the bottom. We have some former students, not only at OSU and OU and TU, but also at Columbia, Northwestern, A&M, or Texas A&M. We have some of our pass rates for our AP courses. When our students at the end of the course in many of our AP classes have the option of taking AP tests, which they can be granted college credit. As you can see on the left-hand side on these pass rates, these are Meridian's versus global, which would be national averages. And I can also mention that Meridian blows away Oklahoma's averages on the averages. The last two slides, you can see our new STEM Academy that was as it was being built, and actually it is almost finished. We're actually teaching in the building. We have a few last minute things that are still being worked on here and there, but we are fully functioning in our new building. Mark is in a few minutes is going to give you a virtual tour. We're so excited. This building was something that we've actually been working on and planning for, well, this is my 9th year, so we've been working on this for 7 years. We broke ground about 1.5 years ago, and now we are teaching in this building. So, Mark, I'm going to unshare this and let you take over. You're on.
So, if you're attending, make sure that as you have questions that you put that in the Q&A section. So make sure that you do that as well, and we will definitely address any questions that you have along the way. So I'm going to take us through a tour. I think it's a fascinating building. So my part, I think, is just a lot of fun to do. I'm going to try not to spin us around so fast that you get dizzy. So I'm going to start us on the back side of the building. So what you saw in the picture, that final product, is probably the front side, I would say. This back side is actually where people enter. So as I share my screen here, you will see the door that you would enter in through. And as we move around here, as soon as you come in the building, this is what you would see. We have a pathway that leads back to the main part of the building, and then in front of us and off to the right is our STEM building itself. Kind of a fun little area here is an area to kind of sit down, relax, maybe catch up with each other, do some homework between classes or something like that. Whenever we go up our staircase here, I'm going to take us up, and we're going to look from this view up here. So one of the nice things that we have here are some nice areas. So the area that we just climbed stairs up to would have led us up to this upper landing. And then it actually opens up. I'm going to spin around, and I'm still looking east into an area here where we really look forward to using this in some great and marvelous ways for presentations, for guest speakers to come in, for classroom collaboration, all of those sorts of things. So as we look here, one of the slides mentioned SpeedFest was an activity that we have been involved in the past. Unfortunately, because of COVID this year, we won't be doing that at all. But we would have students together to build planes, and then we would take them out and compete with them. When we head down our hallway here, so now I'm actually heading south, And so there are 3 rooms on the top here. So this is where half of our instructors are. At the end of the hallway down here are the two biomedical sciences rooms, and they're pretty much identical to this room that I'm getting ready to show you here, which is Mrs. Short's classroom. And so there she is, doing her magic of teaching some chemistry. And so we have a really great lab space here at the back of the room with some teaching space up here at the front of the room. So just nice large room where students might be working here as well as working in the lab area for both of those. Okay. I'm going to take us downstairs now into our pre-engineering classroom. So there are 3 classrooms in the lower portion that we have. So this one is actually my classroom. And so the 3 rooms here are pretty much identical. These are computers along the side. We do a lot of computer-based applications inside of our Project Lead the Way courses, quite a bit. So my students right now in digital electronics are building with breadboards and integrated circuit chips, and then designing them on multi-sim, and then physically building them and getting them to run. So this is one of our downstairs pre-engineering rooms. So the 3 rooms downstairs look pretty much like this, identically. And then the 3 upstairs rooms kind of have that wet lab area as well. In our shop, which is, I think, one of our coolest features that we have here, we have a shop space here where we bring students in for physics labs or principles of engineering classes, or civil engineering and architecture, or even aerospace engineering. They were working on, say, airports, gliders. And so we have some nice space in here that we have. My students last week came in and they were actually doing soldering with some circuit boards. And so this is our space that we have here for some of our physics types labs, as well as some of our engineering courses that we have. We do have a wood shop that we're able to use. We do VEX robotics. So we have a big VEX room here that has a lot of the VEX parts that go along with it. And we have a laser cutter in our room back here that we utilize. And then we have our 3D printers in a room back over here that we use as well. So I believe that takes us through most of our building here. So I think it's a fabulous place. So Mrs. Short, is there anything that we need to address from what's been coming in?
A couple of questions. First, yeah, the question was, how many students do we accept? And I responded that we take 18 new students in the fall, in the morning, and 18 in the afternoon. And so when we receive a stack of applications, typically we'll have 25 to 28 applications from the morning and about the same for the afternoon. We'll accept, so we'll have 18 students, and then we'll typically then rank some more students beyond the top 18, and we'll put them on what's a waiting list, because typically we'll have a student in the middle of the summer, their family moves, or maybe they've changed their mind, and so we'll have a few students on a waiting list that were highly qualified, but just maybe not at the top of the list. There are several things we look at. We not only look at their GPA, but also any kind of testing scores they have, teacher recommendations, counselor recommendations, any kinds of camps or other activities they've been involved in. We also look to see where the student attends school. We try to make sure that we're inclusive to all of our districts, but we certainly don't have to take every application that just because they're from a certain school does not guarantee you get in. But we do take 18 in the morning and 18 in the afternoon. Our classes are definitely built for 18. We don't want more than 18 because we want to try to keep our student number low, So our student-to-teacher ratio is very manageable. So I hope that has answered your question. I responded most of that information. Matthew, did you have another question about that? I think I answered it, but you know, I can talk and talk and maybe not answer it.
All right. If you have other questions there, definitely feel free to put those in the Q&A spot. I will point out that as Ms. Short was talking about all these different schools, we have the 10 different communities, as well as some private schools and homeschooled students and even online schools. One of the things that our students really say that they really enjoy about coming to Meridian in our program is that they really enjoy getting to meet students from other schools that they normally would not have met before. And a lot of them actually, because they're in so many classes together, actually develop some pretty great deep friendships throughout because of that.
Okay, so the question is, I'm homeschooled and dropped off my application, but haven't been able to take any testing. We totally understand. This is the most bizarre year. Even the universities are struggling with this. They have seniors that have never taken the ACT and cannot get one because ACT canceled some of the tests. So don't be overly concerned. If you had some scores, that'd be great, but we totally understand this is going to be a bizarre year. That is not a, don't worry that if you don't have some of those testing scores, like we would love if you had a pre-ACT score, ACT score. But if you don't, we totally understand. It's nothing that you have any control over. So if you have your completed application turned in, that's great, because priority enrollment they'll start looking around February the 1st. We will continue to take applications even throughout the summer until, so even once we have our 18 students, let's say around spring break, and we have those selected, we still encourage students that move in or had changed their mind and they decided to apply to go ahead and apply, because sometimes we do have openings in August. It sometimes happens. If we don't have 18 strong applicants this year, you know, we may only have 16, and that's fine, but we will not go over 18. So back to your question, Matthew, don't be concerned that you don't have those testing scores. We understand that. It is important if you're homeschooled that you give that recommendation to someone, maybe some group you're involved in, maybe a youth group leader or Boy Scouts or someone outside of your family that can give some feedback about your performance. If they want, they can mail those to us if they are not comfortable with giving that to you to put in your packet. Okay, and so it sounds like you've turned in your application already. So you're going to receive in the mail a couple more forms, and one of them will be a teacher recommendation. And I realize if you're schooled, your teacher is probably one of your parents. Okay, and so you'll probably want to give that recommendation to someone that you outside of your family that works with you on some other group. If not, then you can email us. I'm going to go ahead and put my email address in the chat so that you have it, so you can contact us. We all have the same email. It's our first name. So mine is Debbie S. And then the last part of it is the same for everyone at meridiantech.edu. So if you have any questions, that's on the website. You can certainly contact either me or Mr. Thomas. But you should be receiving in the mail, hopefully in a couple weeks, a few more pieces of information, teacher recommendation, and I believe maybe one other form you should be getting in the mail. They may be available on the website. I'm not sure, but if you don't get one in the mail in a couple weeks, certainly email us and just say, hey, I was supposed to get another form. Can you send me one? And we will gladly reach out and take care of that.
One other thing I'll mention as far as making sure that you have all of the different things covered that you need to. There are two. There's only one recommendation form. There are two courses that we don't offer here that sometimes students look at and would expect us to. We don't offer geometry. We expect students to be ready to go into Algebra 2. So if you haven't had geometry yet, you could actually take that at your own sending school or home school at the same time you would be getting Algebra 2 from us. The other part is we don't offer in pre-engineering, you won't get biology. And so that would be another science course that you would not be getting from us that is required by the state. So that would be something that you would need to pick up also. I think that's everything that we had for a little go around. So if you've got any more questions at any time, Ms. Short gave you her email address there. Make sure you reach out and we will be happy to help you out. And just let us know. And other than that, I think that we are finished kind of with our little bit of a presentation there.
Okay, I just put it in the chat, Matthew. It's Debbie S, DEBBIES at meridiantech.edu. And you can also find that on our website. So if you just type, if you search for Meridian Technology Center, you can click work on full-time programs and then get to pre-engineering. I think there's a way to contact us there as well. Or call the school and ask for one of the pre-engineering instructors. I guarantee you they'll send you to me or Mr. Thomas.
That's right. It'll be one of us.
Yeah. Thank you for attending, Matthew. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Okay. Even if you think of something after this, please reach out. We would love, actually, we'd love, especially if you're homeschooled, to set up some kind of tour. If you'd like to come with a parent and come visit our facility, we would love to set up something with you. So certainly reach out and we can set up something. Wednesdays are really good for us because we don't have students right now on campus on Wednesdays because we're on a blended schedule. So if you would like to come visit and just kind of poke around and see what we have to offer, we'd love to have you and a parent come do that.